G'day, and it's time to talk about procrastination. Now, this video has been coming for a long time, trust me. But I think recently, ever since I wanted to get this channel back and going and making videos again, I've been wanting to talk about this. Now, a lot of you may know that I am a fan of lots and lots of different kind of media, like film, anime, video games, tokusatsu, music. I'm not one of those people that is dissuaded by genre or, like, for example, I said music just then, and that encompasses heavy metal, which is my forte and where I usually go to, but that also encompasses things like classical, uh, opera, even hip hop. There's a lot of stuff in there. And when I say anime, let's just say that, for example, there's a romance that normally isn't my kind of thing. But that's no means for me to stop or not try and get into it. If it's a good romance story, I'll be like, hey, might not be for me, but it was good stuff. The problem that I've had is I am somebody who seeks out constant new life experiences. Now, that's in a whole different range of things, whether it's a new type of food, a new place to go to, just a new activity, a new sport, a new thing to get into. I'm constantly searching for new things. I'm my favorite thing to do is just learn about things. Just get a book or just even on the internet, just type in something that I don't know about and just go down the rabbit hole. For example, I love in particular learning about geography and history. Just okay, well, tell me this little place on the map that I've never learnt anything about, because school systems don't really teach many of that kind of thing. I was never really interested in what I had to learn at school, but surprisingly, once I was out by myself, I had this new reinvigorated interest in things that I wanted to learn, and I had the ability to learn what I wanted to learn. So I do. I suppose the easiest way to describe myself is I consume knowledge. I can't go a day without learning something or just being interested in something. I have to find something, and if I don't, then I consider the day wasted or a failure. And I'm one of those people that views life like an hourglass. I don't know when the hourglass is coming to an end, but it is coming to an end one day. And so I'm always trying to learn as much as I can while I'm here. But I didn't mean to get too deep for you guys or like just too much into it. But what I really want to speak about is knowing the limited amount of time that people have on on Earth. It definitely sometimes makes me feel like I should be doing more and experiencing more. Now, I'm not one of those people that, oh, you haven't been to the Great Wall of China, you haven't lived, you haven't eaten lobster from the oceans fresh, and you hadn't had it brought to you. Well, you haven't lived. No, different people have different experiences, and I feel like life is, well, at least for me, all about experiencing new things and learning new things. So I would never criticize someone for how they choose to live their life as long as they're not hurting anyone else or telling other people how to live their life. Pretty simple mantra. I am going to try and get through as much as I can in my life in terms of media. If I could spend every single day without having to go to work or without having to all of a sudden just go out and have to pay bills, then I would just literally just sit at home and research and learn about everything I could, watch old classic film from like the 1930s, or sit down and catch the latest anime or the Kamen Rider Ghost, which might be happening or airing. But even things like card games like Magic, I get into it primarily just for the story elements. Getting to procrastination, which I think is it's funny that it took me so long to get here, but I will start something because I seek out that new experience. Like, let's just say, I will start watching a television show like The Walking Dead. That's the first one that came to mind because it's quite popular during the moment. I will watch episode 1. Heck, I might even watch up to episode 3, and that'll be it. That'll be it. I'll consider it. I'll come back to it, but I never will, because I get it. I understand. I'm like, this is what it's probably going to be about, and I'll seek out something new without finishing that old thing. And the same goes for video games, especially video games. And more so now than when I was younger. But if there's a video game, I will go out, I'll buy it, put money on the table. And I've worked so many jobs just to be able to go out and buy different video games. And I will play them for 3 hours and never touch them. Ever again. Short attention span, maybe. In fact, I'm probably sure that's what it actually is. But I get it. I just understand. I'm like, okay, so this is this kind of game. And while it may not exactly be very good on my wallet, I don't feel like it's wasted money, because at the same time I'm like, oh cool, I got to check this thing out. And the lighting is really terrible here, and I'm sorry for that. But anyway, back to topic. I like to write down things and like just thoughts everywhere. I'm definitely a writer, not professional by any means, but I write little notes here and there for everything. Like, for example, if I sit down and watch a movie and I have a couple of thoughts, I'll just write them down, and I'll write the title of the movie and these are my thoughts. And so I figured that's something that I would like to, take a look at in the future when I'm doing some videos for YouTube. If we were to look at this list of media that I've been meaning to get to, I actually counted them up. And if you take a look at things like my film list, where I've just seen it, or I've, been meaning to get to it, or I buy it, I have almost, I didn't even count, because I couldn't find other pages that I'd been missing for my list. And I haven't got to some of the classic films either. Like, people are always going on and raving about the new Star Wars film. I haven't even seen that. I haven't seen some of the classic remakes of the Universal Monster films. I've seen a lot of them, of the original Universal Monster movies, but I haven't seen things like Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. I haven't seen Rear Window. I haven't seen Casablanca. Like, I've seen parts of it, but then I didn't finish it, and I feel that's really disappointing, and I should get better with that kind of stuff. But for video games and comics and anime, my lists are more defined. Like, for example, I have 79 comics that I have touched but haven't finished. I don't know how many comic books I've completed, but in terms of ones that I've at least read an issue and I didn't follow up on it, 79 different trades. That's not a whole series, but trades. That's pretty bad, but it's going to get worse. In terms of anime, because I'm not really, well, I'll get into this another time, but I'm a guy that prefers anime over the manga. And as I said, I'll get into that another day, but for the moment, for just this discussion here, I am currently watching 105 different series of anime. 105. That's something that I would have seen an episode of and just been like, yeah, cool, I'll get back to this. 105. That's pretty bad. I've completed, as of right now, so this is November 2016, I finished 254 anime in my time. And that's just on my list. But yeah, 254 definitely confirmed. So I'm getting there. I'm glad that... Well, even if you look at it that way, 105 anime I'm watching, it's like a little under half of my total things I've seen ever. And that's not because any of those things are bad, because surprisingly, unless something really brings out this bad emotion in me, or like some thing that I just abhor for other reasons, it's pretty difficult for me to find a piece of media like worthless, like it had no point in existing. A lot of people dislike a lot of films that I absolutely love, and vice versa. Like, there are films that I dislike. Like, I don't like how the Marvel movies are filmed. I don't like choices that are made and I'm not a big Marvel Comics fan. But at the same time, I'm sure that there are a lot of movies there that if I sat down, I could be like, I can see that these aren't horrific, these aren't terrible, and I could understand that people could glean some enjoyment from them, but it just might not be for me. Um, that being said, as I said, there are a couple of films that I can just be really, really intense hate, but it will just be for often a reason outside the media itself, which is good and bad for judgment. But here's one that actually shocks me, because it took a while to count. So, including all the games that I have touched and just, played around, even just for 10 minutes, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to get back to this. All the different iterations of video games. Well, I personally have finished 259 video games in my time, as far as I'm aware of. There might be others, but obviously I wasn't writing down stuff. And if I can't remember having finished something when I was like, 5 and under, because I played a lot of video games, but 259, I can literally put my stamp of approval on and say, hey, as far as this game goes, I've finished it. Now, what it means to finish certain games is different for each game. Like some games, I will not consider them personally finished until I 100%. But other games that I'll be like, hey, if I did the story, that's done to me. Because as I mentioned previously, story is very important to me. And story is the main drive behind most of these medias and most of these knowledge quests that I go on, these pilgrimages, if you will. But in terms of games that I've played for a little while and just promised to get back to, the number is a nice round 900. 900 video games. Now, I don't own all of these video games, but I would have played them at a mate's house, or I would have been in an arcade and be like, hey, I've always wanted to, go back and finish that in, just go to an arcade and, try and finish it, even if it cost me like $50, because fuck do I suck at some video games. But, and I would, like to go back and finish those, but 900! Fudge. I'm trying to cut back on the swearing. 900. That, like, I own a fair chunk of that, like, and when it makes me think of how long I had to work and and some days where like I had horrible eating habits just because I was like, oh well, there's 2 games coming out this week, so if I just go for lunch, then I can probably get them both, and then like never playing them. Perfect example. On my Twitter the other day, I released a photo of Xenoverse 2, and I'm pretty sure I went out and bought Dead Rising 3 and Quantum Break because they were doing a sort of special for the Xbox One exclusives. Right, let's take a look at that. So, Xenoverse 2, I played right up to where you fight Raditz, and I was like, that looks like a cool game. And I was like, but I'm gonna step away from this right now because I don't want to get into Dragon Ball Super spoilers because I don't want to. I haven't actually seen any of Dragon Ball Super, and I'm waiting for when they dub it to start watching because to me, the English voices are the voices I grew up with, and that is worth waiting for in my opinion. And I do believe for the voice acting strike at the moment that performance does matter. So yeah. Once again, rambling, but Quantum Break, I installed right after Dead Rising 3. I deleted Dead Rising 3 immediately after I installed it, just after running around. I got to the first area where, fuck, I don't even know. I killed like 100 and something zombies, and I was like, cool, Dead Rising. This will get me in, back into the Dead Rising series for when Dead Rising 4 comes out, which I will probably buy and never finish. And it's not like it's bad. Like as I said, I don't view it as wasted money. I'm like, cool, I had fun with that little moment. But at the same time, it's like when I installed Quantum Break, I went upstairs, I sat down in this little auditorium thing where they were like, here, let me show you a presentation. I sat down and I watched the presentation. And I was like, okay, cool. I got to get up for work in 4.5 hours. I don't know why I spent so long just installing this, but I did and turned it off. And I haven't played it since. And to be honest, if I'm 100% with you guys, I don't think I will be playing that for a while. And it's weird. Um, Maybe an issue. But I'm hoping that by making some of these videos with you guys and just explaining how I feel, it will give me purpose and give me more reason to jump in to more of these experiences, whether it be films, novels, comics, whatever have you, and try and get more of this stuff finished. I'm hoping I can use it as a drive, almost selfishly, um, to try and finally enjoy some of these experiences because I love all these forms of media, and I find entertainment to be just I don't know. To say it was the reason for being might sound a little over dramatic, but I'm a dramatic kind of guy. So, entertainment definitely I think is a necessity. When people say you need your basics of your food, your water, your shelter, and then I always put the little asterisk of and entertainment. So I hope that explains to you guys why there's a lot of things that are like half uploaded series, like because once again, I will get through a series, let's say Chris or Ryan, and or even if we just play like a one sort of, we'll go to and play an arcade game and just have a little match against one of us. I'll have that and I'll have that sitting there, and I'm pretty good when it comes to releasing stuff because I get inspired to be like, cool, I got to get it and put this up and see what the mates think of it when it goes up. But they do sort of sometimes don't get finished, and I'm trying to work on that as best as I can. This being said, having realized this and trying to get the channel up and running again, I have recently finished one video game and two animes, which I would like to talk about at some point in some length or capacity on this channel. When I can do that, I'm not sure, because I do work quite a lot in order to pay for that anime and video games. But yeah, I think it would be fun. So anyway, guys, I hope that gets a little more into my mind so you can understand where I'm coming from with some of the things that I do, why the upload schedule is so sporadic, and yeah, I'd love to talk at length at why some of these things are so important to me. As you guys always tell, you give me a topic and I'll fucking just go with it. Like, I think it says that it's been around 18 minutes since I started recording this. But yeah, I hope you like it. I'm really going to try as hard as I can to at least finish a couple of these things. Anyway, guys, until I see you next time, I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching.